Welcome to another episode of Adventures with Time. I'm your host, Bob, and on this channel, I take you through my experiences in watch collecting. Now, before we get into today's episode, a wrist check. I'm wearing my Seagull 1963 chronograph. And this week, I finally put a scratch in this acrylic crystal. So on an upcoming episode, I'm going to share with you my attempts to buff out that scratch. I've never tried this before, so it should be interesting. Now in today's episode, I'm going to review my new acquisition. Not long ago, I posted an episode, link will be up here, where I go through and survey Hamilton's Khaki Field watches. And I picked the one that I thought best would suit my needs and my style. I decided on the Hamilton Khaki Automatic with the brown dial, reference number H703-05993. After that episode posted, I went off trying to find where I could get this watch at a fairly good price. I went to several authorized dealers in my area and actually called some out in California. Lo and behold, nobody had it. And in fact, one dealer even called Hamilton and was told that this watch with the brown dial was out of stock and they weren't making any more of them. What am I going to do? Well, I decided I'd try buying it from a non-authorized dealer. In other words, the gray market. And I've heard a lot of horror stories about the gray market. Now, I know you don't get the manufacturer's warranty, and I was willing to live with that. But people have posted that they've gotten defective watches or even counterfeit watches. So I've always been a bit apprehensive about buying on the gray market, but I figured this was my opportunity to give it a try. So I looked at a few, checked out their reviews, not on their site, but on other sites, and picked one dealer that said they had the watch. In fact, I even called them to check if they had it in stock. Because some people have said they've gotten the right watch, but in the wrong color. Well, turns out they had the watch and was willing to ship it to me the next day. So I took a gamble and ordered the watch. And I got it at a fairly good discount. And it just arrived today, so let's review this watch. So let's take a look at what I actually got. It seems to come in an official Hamilton box, although I'm not sure whether this is the box appropriate for this watch. That's not too concerning to me. And inside is the watch box, and down here is where the manual and other papers would come. Now you'll notice that I got two of the same manual, which is interesting. I didn't expect a warranty card, and I guess there's no other paraphernalia that came in the box, so let's put that away. So the watch itself is here. Oops, comes on this black cushion. Let's put that away. Comes in this plastic sleeve, and at least it has some, if not the correct, little protective covering for the front and the back. So we can see that it's got what looks like an official Hamilton tag to it with the serial number. I imagine if it were a true AD, they'd have some sort of price label there. But all in all, it looks like the watch that I ordered. Now, one of the reasons that I was willing to go with gray market is that this watch has a display back, which would allow me to examine the movement to see if I thought it was a real Hamilton movement. I've looked over this watch fairly carefully. I've compared it to online images of official Hamilton watches, and I've come to the conclusion that it is an official, authentic Hamilton watch and the one I ordered. Let's get into reviewing the actual watch. So you remember that one of the reasons I chose this watch is that it's 40 millimeters in diameter. Let's go over the specifications. It's a nice 11.5 millimeters thick, 20 millimeter lug width. Lug end to lug end is 49 millimeters. This weighs just 78.5 grams with this strap on it. It has the H10 movement that beats at 21,600 beats per hour and has a power reserve of 80 hours, and it does hack. Water resistance of 100 meters, and from the best that I can tell, it's got superluminova on it. Obviously stainless steel case, brown dial, and sapphire crystal. If you watched that other video where I actually selected this watch, you'll know that in addition to the 40 millimeter width of the case, some other things that drove me to select this watch is the color scheme on the dial. I really like that brown with, I guess, a dark cream numerals. The fact that it has this inner circle that marks the 24 hours. It's got a nice date window at the 3 o'clock position that has a nice little trim printed around it. I like that the case is brushed and just the outer bezel here is polished. Nice large signed crown with some reading on the edge. It gives it a nice substantial grip. Nice display case, Swiss made, serial number I believe, water resistance, and the model number. And you can see it's got some indents because it's a screw down case back. The non-crowned side has got some nice brushing to it, as well as the lug ends. So I think all in all, this watch looks very pristine now and only will improve in character as I wear it and it gets maybe some scratches or nicks or dings. That sapphire crystal will keep the crystal nice and clean and mar-proof. The 20 millimeter lug width is good because although this strap matches from a color scheme, I might want to put it on a NATO to give it that more military or field watch look. Let's take a look how this looks on my 7 7/8 inch wrist. And as I've said in many of my videos, I really like the 40 millimeter case size as it fits my wrist very nicely. I'm not too thrilled with this double prong buckle. So far, I've been finding it a bit hard to latch in there, but it's not a bad strap for what you get. Of course, a signed buckle. The crown is not screw down, but it still has that 100 meter water resistance. The winding is very smooth. Pull it out one position and you quick set the date. Pull it out to the last position, it hacks, and you can set the time. I think the thing that most drew me to this watch is that dial. Not only the color, but all of the printing on it that gives it that military or field look to it. We've got an inner scale for 24 hours. We've got the outer scale for 12 hours, with 12 and 6 being in a larger type. And on that outer scale, we also have numbers that represent every 5 minutes of the dial. The hour and minute hands are almost syringe type, but more tapered at the waist here. It's nice that the minute hand goes all the way out to the minute track, and the hour hand goes all the way out to this inner 24-hour dial. And the second hand has a little arrow at the tip and a little ball to bounce it at the other end. The hands have loom on it as well as this printing on the dial. So let's take a look at a loom shot for a second. Fairly nice. A lot of different things on the dial are loomed. Certainly has a nice presence in the dark. Now let's see how this watch looks with a NATO strap on it. 20 millimeters, bring over my strap box. And you can see we have some options here. That's black, black again, rubber. That's from the Seiko Alpinist, black. Here's a NATO, but I'm not sure I like the color. So it turns out I didn't have a NATO of the appropriate color. So I decided to put it on this brown leather strap that has just the right amount of wear on it to really fit this watch. This strap used to be on my Seiko Alpinist, so I'll have to find another one for that watch. And I'll also pick up a NATO that would fit this watch. But I think this one really fits my new Hamilton Khaki Auto with the brown dial very nicely. Let me know what you think. So that's the watch. I've only had it for one day, and it's going to be on the wrist for the whole next week. I'm happy that I was able to get the model with the right dial color that I wanted, got it at a very good discount, and although I was quite concerned that I wasn't get the right watch or one without defects, it turned out pretty well for me. And I think in the future I will only turn to the gray market if that's the only choice I have. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you're notified about my next video. Hit that like button because it helps me out. But most of all, please provide some comments below and share your experience and thoughts on my experience in this hobby of watch collecting. Until the next time.